Good morning, welcome to another video. It's Christmas Eve. I've come out today, well this morning for a few hours. Obviously I haven't got all day. When you've got small kids you've got to get home. But I've come out today because, as you can probably see, beautiful day, overcast, it's still. This river, if I bring you down you'll see, it is in wonderful condition. There's about 18 inches of visibility. So I thought, right, I need to go trotting. I've been out a few times since you last saw me. I think last saw me was probably, we started off the video in the same swim, I think, but for me that's a week and a half ago, something like that. As I say, I've been out a few times since then, so I'll fill you in on exactly what happened or didn't happen. But for now, we'll get cracking. The baits today we're going to use, I've got some bread, I've got some mashed bread, and I've got some maggots. And that's the plan. We're going to trot. Get a bit of this in. Some, as I said, just got some mashed bread here. We'll get it sort of washing around. We've got a bit of a slack there where we had a chub a few weeks ago. We've had chub from further down this run as well. We'll just keep feeding this in, see what we can do. Hopefully, as I say, catch some chub. Fingers crossed. We may also get in touch with some roach, some dace, who knows what, even some perch. If we go on maggots, that is, of course. Right, I've put a cormorant up already. That's a good start. But yes, I will fill you in shortly on what I've been doing, what you haven't seen me doing. But for now, I think we'll get cracking. Now, we might just fish one swim. We might fish 2 or 3 swims. I don't know. We'll just see how tricky it is or how good it is. If we're catching, obviously happy to stick around in a swim. If we're not, we'll perhaps have a bit of a rove about. I'm not going to give it too long today, as I say. I do want to get home, obviously share Christmas with the family, Christmas Eve, etc. So gear-wise, I've got my Dower Tournament Pro 15-foot rod, Dower 125M close face reel on the bottom end, and on the business end, Drake Allostem stick float. I'll stick all the information on everything I'm using down in the description. I'll link you to a video how I set this up as well. It'll be in the card and down in the description. Should you want to have a look in more detail. Hopefully we can do a bit better than we did last time. It's an absolute waste of time last time we did this. So fingers crossed it'll be a bit more productive. Well, perfect day for this today, hopefully. Fingers crossed we can winkle out a few fish. We'll just feel our way with the depth. Run this down the faster water and then let it trundle into the... Can you believe it? Look at that. First run through. I don't believe it. Oh, it's off. I wasn't ready for that at all. Oh my goodness. I thought it was the bottom. Being first run through. And I realised it wasn't as it was pulling the float sideways. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe we've missed a bite. Oh. Well, hopefully we've not spooked him. I did feel him on. I can't imagine there's just one in this pool. But hopefully he's not spooked all his mates as well. Oh, I can't believe it. That bumped fish sums up pretty much how my fishing has been going lately. I was out last week. Finally, the Avon looked in reasonable condition for a bite. Looked just about clear enough to do some maggot fishing, and I had some maggots kicking around at home I needed to use. Thought, right, we'll go out on the waggler, mag and wag. It was very, very difficult. I fished for maybe an hour and a half on the waggler, and I think I'm right in saying I don't think I had a suck maggot. Nothing, absolutely nothing happened. I couldn't buy a bite off. I'm not talking just off, decent fish. I'm talking off anything. A size 18 on, single or double maggot, and I didn't have a bite off a little roach, a chub, a perch, a days of anything. I just thought this is a waste of time. If we can't even get bites off little fish, we're wasting our time. So after about an hour and a half, I knocked that on the head. I did think about having a bit of a rove, but no, I didn't think it was worth it. I thought I'd go home. So I thought, right, what I'll do, I'll get out in a couple of days' time, which is a little bit clearer, hopefully, and a little bit lower, although it didn't really clear all lower a couple of days later. So what I decided to do was go to a different stretch and have a bit of a rove about on the ledger with a bit of bread mash, like I like to do in the small rivers. I thought we'd do it up this stretch. Well, it wasn't great from the off. I turned up and there was 3 cars in the car park, and it's not a particularly long stretch. So I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to be quite limited on what I can do here. I fished 3 of them without a single touch, absolutely nothing. And I started to walk down towards one of the other swims. The last swim I'd baited, and there's a guy just setting up in it. Someone else had turned up. I was just like, oh, okay. Right, so I thought, what should we do? We could double back on the swims we already fished. There was not many swims left really with 4 other people there without, sitting right next to someone else, which is not really the done thing, is it? So, yeah, I wasn't really sure what to do. And then I sat there wondering, and then some alarms started going off. I had absolutely no idea what it was an alarm for, but it's just a constant whistle. It was really, really annoying, driving me up the wall. Went on for about 10 minutes and sort of had enough of this. I'm going home. So I packed up and I went. So I probably gave that about an hour and a half as well. Not good, not good. So I left it after that because we had loads of rain. The Avon came up, all the tributaries all came up, and it was just it was a nightmare really. Everywhere was pretty much unfishable. So I left it a few days, and then I came out again yesterday. And I wondered what to do, and all the rivers were a bit high. This one wasn't too bad, but I did fancy doing something a little different. So I headed over to the River Avon, which is a tributary of the Avon. I thought I'd give that a go. My mate Mick fishes on there fairly regularly. He'd had a reasonable session a few days before. So I thought, right, that's what we need to do. We need to get on there. So I went down, and in the meantime, we'd had some sleety rain, and it had come up, and I just thought, I'm not sure they're doing the right thing here. It's probably had a hit of cold water go in it. Anyway, it's a river I don't fish very often, but when I do, I know, there's lots of minnows there. You get taps and rattles and bangs, and when there's fish about. Well, I fished 10 or 11 swims, and I did not have a single touch off anything. Absolutely nothing. I didn't have a bite. Not a nibble, not a tap, not a rattle, not nothing. I gave it a couple of hours. Once again, I'm wasting my time here. Which brings us to today. I did think of perhaps going up the River Arrow this morning. But the River Arrow is a very similar catchment to the River Avon. It's a similar area, and I just thought, I'm probably just going to be wasting my time again. So I looked at the level at this river and just thought, oh, that looks like it'll be a nice colour for some trotting. So here we are. That brings us up to today, and my run of terrible form has continued, and we've just put to fish off and not had a bite since. So that's a bit disastrous, really. Right, I think I'm going to just have a couple more runs through. It's been probably half an hour since we started in here and bumped that fish, and I've not really had another sign. I think we would have by now if we're going to catch anything else. So here we are next up. Bit of a run, bit of cover to our left. It's not particularly quick through here. It's not like that last swim. But sometimes a few chub hanging around in here. See what we can do. I'm not going to give it too long in here though. I want to go and fish that other swim for the last sort of hour. As I say, I'm fairly short lead today as for time, purely because it's Christmas Eve. Right, let's see if we can get off this blank. Actually, it's flowing through nicely there on that crease. There's a bit of a raft a bit further down. I'm not sure you can see it. A bit of a raft, and obviously there's a tree here, so there's tree roots down there and stuff. Can't believe how mild it is today. It's been quite cold the last few days. Cold and windy. As I say, we had some sleet the other day. There we go. It took a few minutes, but we've connected. Float sailed away, lovely. I don't know if you saw it. Wonderful. Feels a reasonable fish as well. Doing his utmost to get back under this cover. Now right in by my feet. Come on. Out, out. Oh, he's not a bad one. You certainly do as a blank breaker. That's a nice fish. I haven't extended my landing net. We'll manage. Wonderful. We've got one. We've got one. Right, we'll hold him up over the net. How's about that? Absolute cracker. Beautiful condition as well. Absolutely wonderful. Great scrap. Fantastic. Right, well, we've been in here about 10 minutes, so I think we'll chuck the keep net in and we might be able to winkle another one out, who knows. I was just starting to think nothing was going to happen in here. He'd been absolutely troughing. He had a mouthful of my mashed bread. You might think it looks a bit strange, this mashed bread, and you'd be right. It's not just mashed bread. What I've done is mixed it with some dynamite, zig cloud, I think it's called, just to give it a bit of smell. And obviously it clouds up the water as well. I think it's for carp fishing, for zig fishing. Let's see if we can have another one before we move on. He was clearly sat under that raft I mentioned. So I was about 2 foot off that raft. The float just sailed away slowly. It's often one and out in these swims, because I'm not going to hang around too much longer. I would stay in here a bit longer, but I do fancy having to go at this other swim. It's on the other bank further down. A nice little similar to that first swim we trotted. So here we are. Hopefully we can finish off with a chub or two from here. Fingers crossed. We've got a bit of fast water upstream of us there. This opens out into a bit of a pool. Yeah, sometimes good for a bite in here. We'll get a bit of this mash in whilst I'm just sorting myself out. We're obviously on the opposite bank now. Right, let's get sorted. Some nice slacks on the inside in here as well. Had the odd bite tucked away on the inside. We can run down to that cover down there, I'm sure you can see. I'm going with bread again. I've not broken out the maggots, to be honest, this session. Right, let's see what we can do. Again, we'll suss the depth on the fly. I've got a fairly good idea how deep it is. It's not particularly deep in this run. Let's run right through that time. I really want to hook a fish down there at the moment. Until we've had a proper go at the top here. See that crease there, that float's just not doing a lot at the moment. Alright, that looks like a bite. There we go. Just sat on that crease. Well, hopefully you saw that. It was just a dip, dip, dip. Okay, it feels a reasonable fish. Cool, they're getting that fast water though, blimey. Ooh, it's off. And I realise they're not going to be able to do you in the edge. There we go. Back out into the flow. He's a nice fish. Cool, it's a cracker. That is the biggest fish I've had out of this swim by a ways. Wow. Well, I've got the net here just in case he flips, but how's about that? That's a corker to have on the float as well. It's wonderful. Absolutely cracking. We're only fishing about 3 minutes. A bit like last time, except I didn't mess it up this time. I was literally, I'm just looking at this bit of bread here. This bread slice, it was the first bit of bread I broke out. I think it was a second run through, that was all. Just shows you, doesn't it? Especially with bread, if they're there, they'll be on it quick. There's just enough visibility in this river to be able to trot and then for them to be able to see the bait sort of 18 inches away. But also, it's not too clear that they're all tucked away under the cover. It's a bit of a balance, really. They love just sitting in that slack of water. Can have a bit of a rest, but then all the stuff's being washed past them. They can just nip out and grab any particles of food. That's exactly the reason I said as well why I didn't want to hook a fish down there when we'd ran all the way down. So I'm playing a fish here, and that one was still in there. Not good. Is that a bite? No, I think we're just touching bottom there. Cheeky. Bottom. We need to shallow up just a couple of inches, I think. It's running down that crease, we're just catching. Alright, we can winkle another one out of here. There's got to be a few of them in here, hasn't there? Got to be. We'll give it half hour. I say it is Christmas Eve after all. I don't want to take the mickey. It's a bit all over the place, this flow. We have a nice crease along here, then a few minutes later it disappears. Boils up like crazy. A little bit surprised that fish was sat there, but perhaps he'd moved up because I was chucking this mash in. And obviously we don't really want to fish out in that really, really fast water. Can't imagine there'd be anything out there. Very important to keep this mash going in because it's not going to stick around in the swim. That's the whole point of it. It just washes through the swim. So need to keep it going in at least once a cast, or like twice. You do get through it. Maybe use perhaps 2 or 3 loaves today. They're only 50p each, it's £1.50, you know, it's not a problem. When you think a pint of maggots is, what, 3.5 quid? Ooh, and again, lots of little dips down there. Wonder if it's the bottom or maybe it's some smaller fish. Ooh, there we go. Dip, dip. Right where I've been getting those bites down there. Dip, dip, and under it went. I've said I had a couple of snatchy bites down there. Try and get some under that tree. I can't get him anything. He's trying to get under that fallen tree over there, that bush. There we go. Mid-river again. Just dragged this one right back through the swim, unfortunately. God, they do fight in this fast water. Blimey. I don't think he's as big as that last one. Still feels a decent fish though. Blimey. Yeah, he's not as big. Still, I'd much rather catch him than not. Come on. Come on. Got him. Yay. Fab. Well, we've turned it around since that first cast, haven't we? We'll give him a second just to get his breath back. Well, as I say, not as big as the last one, but all very welcome all the same. Wonderful. Right, we'll have another 5 or 10 minutes, I think. Just we can winkle another one out. But I'm happy now. Happy with what we've caught. It's been very, very enjoyable. Be able to trot, it's just so nice. Trot productively, I should say. Do wonder if there are any more down there. We had a few taps and rattles and plucks and pulls down there on the float before we had that bite. He properly committed. Lovely to get down the Avon and do a bit of this, or a bit of fishing with maggots, or even casters. I've still got some casters from ages ago. I seem to be keeping her right though. I was using the old keeping them in a bottle trick. Problem is, in my book, I need a river that's relatively clear to fish maggots. This mash bread works well in coloured water because of the smell. All those particles dispersing everywhere, whereas maggots are very visual bait. Oh, that's the bottom. Look like a bite there. Very visual bait, aren't they, maggots? Fish see them and catch them. They're not in their field of view, they're not going to know they're there. Whereas that absolutely glows. We're in again. I thought it was the bottom. It just dipped a couple of times and then just slowly pulled under as if it would when it was you caught the bottom. Wow. What a swim this is. Again, oh, he's going for that cover. no, 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 no. I think we've turned him, yeah. Feels another nice fish. Blimey. Going for all the snags. Come on. That's cracking. Absolutely wonderful. Come on. Got him. Oh, that's another beauty. Oh, it's about that. Another absolute cracker on the stick float. That's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. We've done a hat trick in here. Absolutely fantastic. Better than I could have hoped for, really. I think we'll have just 5 more minutes. It's about 2:10 now. I'm not going to stay too much longer. But we'll have a little bit longer, shall we? 5 minutes. A few more casts. Just a nice pace to the water down there, though. It sort of swirls and eddies, but it's not too bad. Nothing that fish wouldn't want to sit in, really, or clearly. Just varying where I'm putting the float through as well. Sometimes I'm putting it through on the crease, sometimes mid-river. A few times I've been far side. It just takes a different line through every time. We've certainly broken the duck today. Done it in style and on possibly my favourite method. I'm not sure whether stick float or waggler is quite my favourite method. No, that's it. I'm going to call it a day there. That's been fantastic. We've had, it's about 2:20 now. We've had sort of three and a half hours at it. That's been very enjoyable. Just what the doctor ordered just before Christmas. Fantastic. Really, really enjoyed that. So I appreciate by the time you see this, it'll be way past Christmas for you. So I hope you had a good one, and I hope you had a good New Year too. I'll certainly be out doing plenty more fishing, plenty more videos to come. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling. Many thanks to the channel patrons for your fantastic support. And I'll see you again very soon.